Hi there, I'm Hallie. I'm the owner of Hero Athletics. I can be a little long-winded, so here's the Cliffs Notes version of a parent meeting for season 6 at Hero. As we go into season 6, there are a few things that we are focusing on changing and improving as our program grows. We want to create stronger and more competitive teams. This means leveling teams appropriately, which is also going to be a lot more required this year with changes to the score sheet. Athletes have to fill multiple puzzle pieces to make the puzzle picture complete. Everybody gonna have to jump this year. Building teams is a lot more than just tumbling difficulty. As our program grows, tumbling is becoming a little bit more of a challenge in our space. So this year we're gonna be moving all of our team tumbling to Sundays for an hour and a half. This is going to mean that we are going to have more time to hit targeted conditioning. We're going to be able to hit our foundational skills for everybody. Everybody is going to be a lot more consistent across the program, and we'll still have time for growth, and we'll have the space in the gym to make sure everybody gets what they need. We will have limited times for makeups during the week. This also makes it less detrimental if someone has to miss a Sunday for something else. They're missing a tumbling session instead of a team practice. This year, we're also taking our junior and senior teams to a residential team camp, skills camp in Oregon. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know yet if our youth team will make the age cutoff to go. If our youth team can't go to Dream Camp, we'll do an in-house team skills camp this summer, date TBD. Tryouts are May 22nd through May 25th. You're going to choose an individual time slot on May 22nd or May 23rd for a 15-minute individual tryout. And then you'll have a group callback on Wednesday or Thursday for us to create groups, look at stunts and group skills. We are gonna have a couple of weeks of leveled practices to play with and make sure the groups that we think are going to work will work within the new score sheets before we finalize teams for the season. I do also anticipate modifications to the newly modified score sheets the first week of June. So we want to make sure that we have room to move things around based on what changes are made after June 1st. When it comes to the age grid, this is the first thing we look at, is who is age eligible for which team. Do not look at where it says approximate ages. They make no sense, and I don't know why they do it. Only look at the birth year. The birth year is the only thing that matters. Find the birth year, and that's what your kid's eligible for. The page about required skills at each level probably freaks some of you guys out. This is meant to show that the baseline skills at each level are no longer sufficient to be competitive at that level. And most kids that are going to be considered for a level 1 team are going to be starting back handsprings or throwing back handsprings. Kids that are going to be considered for a level 2 team are kids that already have all of their level 2 skills and are starting to throw their level 3 skills, and so on and so forth. Take a look at what skills your kid is currently throwing with excellent technique that would score well at a comp. That's the level of team that is realistic for your child. Please do not panic if your child does not have a back walkover yet. We do have some wiggle room for non-tumblers to fill other roles on the teams. When you sign on to an elite team, you're signing on to pay tuition from June of 2023 through May of 2024, regardless of when your season is done. That means you're going to pay tuition on May 1st, even if your season is over. Tuition is due on the 1st of each month. Your team fees are due on the 15th of each month, and your uniform is billed separately. We have a 5-day grace period. Any account with a balance after the 5th or the 20th of each month will be issued a $25 late fee. The fees in here are estimates, and I do my best to estimate realistically or even on the high end because I don't like to give you surprise expenses. If you quit after choreography, there's a $500 fee. New this year, after September 1st, any absence will result in a $25 fine. And after April 1st, during summit season, if you are on a summit team, there is a $100 fine per absence. You guys, I don't want this money. I want your kids at practice. We do offer a pay in full discount of 10% off the tuition portion only if you decide to pay in full for the entire season based on these estimated fees. That pay in full option is due by July 1st in order to take advantage of that discount. All of our fees are listed out in the expected costs page. Not a lot of changes between last year and this year. There is a slight increase in tuition. We are also increasing our tumbling by about 2 hours a month by going to 1.5 hours on Sundays for tumbling. One change, you will see that in the apparel package, shoes are no longer included, and this is because last year it was kind of a nightmare. This year you are going to order shoes as your kid needs them. We are going to be using the same shoe, the Black Infinity Flights, but you can order these as needed on Amazon and ship them right to your door, or we're going to have a link through Infinity directly where you can order them through them. The only uniform cost for returning athletes will be if you have to purchase a new uniform because your child has grown. Additionally, we are going to have to get new skirts for everyone in the program uniform this season. There are significant fit issues, and I'm not going to send any more athletes out on stage in inappropriate fit. We are not doing that again next year. I have been going back and forth with Rebel since January to see if Rebel will pay for the skirts to change or if we have to. Really pushing for Rebel to have to pay for that. We are implementing a required Top Girl class this year. You're not going to have to spend a lot of extra time in the gym. We were discussing putting this in conjunction with the tumbling times on Sunday so that your athlete would come for approximately 2 hours on Sundays. This is because we have to up our game in the flyer strength and flexibility department this year. This will be included in your tuition. We are not going to do a lot of fancy practice wear this year. We're going to do a set of easy, simple camp practice wear for the summer with a number of t-shirts and tank tops, probably a practice bow or two specifically for Dream Camp. Plan on having blackout days, maybe a camo day, a theme day. You're gonna need black practice wear items. Rule is going to be wear hero colors, or black. These kids all lose everything by the time we get to November anyway. Side note, it's a really good idea to label your kids' clothes. Elite teams will attend 6 to 7 events in the regular season, most of which will be in the Pacific Northwest, plus 1 flyaway event, in addition to our end of season event, which will either be the regional summit, which is in Phoenix this year, or the summit in Orlando. I don't know yet if we are going to be D1 or D2, so I'm not sure which event we're going to be part of because logistics. Clarification on the NCAA fee. If NCAA/cheer sport ends up being the full program-wide flyaway event, that would be included in the normal team fees, the assessment payments that you pay. That would not be additional. The NCAA fee on here is only for the upper level teams, levels 5, 6, that are going to an additional extra event like NCAA. So if your kid is not on a level 5 or 6 team, you won't have that additional fee. There will be an end of season fee for either the regional summit or the summit, estimating about $350 to $400. This is going to include any practice wear, some swag bag items. A lot of it is coaches' travel fees and expenses and pay for while they are working. We are focusing on getting teams ready earlier this season, but we will only be taking really truly ready teams to the American Northwest in Portland the first weekend in December. Otherwise, plan on attending and opening the season in Kent on December 16th. I have yet to land on a great flyaway option. We have Duel in the Desert, which would be a great and easy choice. However, it does conflict with the Washington State High School Cheerleading Championship, and it depends on how many teams we have affected by that, if that's an option for some or all of our teams. Another option is NCA or cheer sport, which are the same weekend this year. NCA has very strict crossover rules and you can't cross over levels, which makes it a challenge for any gym that has crossovers. Cheer sport is a big event in Atlanta that does not have those crossover rules and could be a good replacement option. An easier big event is Anaheim. I was just hoping for it to be not as close to the summit. I would also like to look at Sea to Sky this year as an option. It's a really fun competition. It's close enough to drive. It does butt into spring breaks. Once varsity releases their pricing, because I haven't yet, and we have a better idea of crossovers and teams, we will have a better idea of what the schedule might look like. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this, but level 1 teams are only going to go on paid bids this year. Now we have reasons for this, and they're good reasons based on years of experience in this sport and of going to Summit and of watching it evolve. And it's twofold. One is that we have to start somewhere to take the pressure off the Summits as being the only way to end a season and for it to be an expectation. 2, we want to build teams that are strong enough to be contenders both in getting a paid bid and at being strong finalists at the Summit. If you're a level 1 kid, you have 2 choices. You can choose to say, well, I guess that means we're not going to the Summit next year. Or you can say, how do I get to the Summit on a paid bid next year? Your camp dates and schedule is fairly self-explanatory. We did try to have fewer required camp days and blackout days for the summer because we all get busy in the summer and we all like to travel. One thing that's going to be really important as we go into the summer and into the rest of the season is that we do have an online form every year for you to submit your absences on. And this helps us, it populates a calendar on our end so that we know when everybody is going to miss so that we can keep track of it. And we can also plan our practices more effectively. That link will be going out as soon as we create teams. In closing, the number one thing we need for success this season is attendance. It is absolutely imperative that we have solid attendance all season long in order to progress forward as a team. I think I've covered most of it. If you have additional questions, please let me know and I can do a follow-up video or answer more specific questions directly if needed.